Welcome to the Dummy Plug Podcast.
Welcome everyone to a special bonus episode of the Dummy Plug Podcast. My name is Gainer79. Today I'm being joined by the creators of Bleach, happy to serve you, the ever-popular Hardcore Hunter.
Howdy.
And joining us for the first time ever on the podcast, the illustrator for Bleach, happy to serve you, Gairon.
Hi, everybody.
Alright, guys. I'm glad to have you here on the podcast with me today.
Good to be here.
I'm excited to be here.
Alright. Well, today we're going to talk about, first, Bleach, happy to serve you comic. It's been very popular on DeviantArt. You can find that on Gairon's webpage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's uploaded to my account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about the history of how this all started?
Oh, it's coming up on, 3 years this October?
Yeah.
Since we started? Yeah.
Do you want to start, Hunter?
Yeah, I was saying, what was it, about 3 years since we started this?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, about this October. Yeah, well, we started out, mostly, I think it was, I was doing skits on Adult Swim message boards, just joking around. A lot of it was me just being pissy about how terrible the filler arcs were.
Yeah, this was at the time when Bleach was on Adult Swim in the middle of a filler arc. I forget which one exactly it was. It was whatever was airing in the fall of 2011.
It might have been the Bount arc, I think.
Really?
No, Bount arc.
That was way before that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Another filler thing.
I think it was crap. It was it was like that weird filler right in the middle of the Eisen arc or something like that.
Yeah.
That one with the lolly.
Oh, the lolly girl, the princess.
The one that plays soccer later.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah,
I think that might have been it. But yeah, I did that. After writing skits for a while, everyone liked them, thought they were pretty funny. Gairon started writing or drawing pictures that went along with some of the skits. And then someone made a Bleach Hooters thread. So then I started basing skits around what if the girls worked in a Hooters restaurant.
Yeah.
And Gairon was drawing pictures that went along with that.
Yeah, we were a collection of different characters in Hooter outfits and judging from their characters, like what position or job occupation they would have, and what they would do, and et cetera, et cetera. So.
All right.
Yeah. So then, whenever Gairon would add some characters, I'd add them into the skits with those jobs. Let's see. Then after a while, we were getting requests and private messages from all kinds of users to start working together on a manga. We declined it for probably a couple months, but we kept getting private messages, so we were like, screw it. Worst case scenario, we'll do this for a few months and then maybe get a few dozen hits and everyone will be happy. Now it's 3 years later and it's got over 4 billion views.
Views on DeviantArt. 4 people visited. That means, and we're up to chapter 10 right now, and the chapters have just gotten longer.
And you have your own TV tropes page now.
We have a TV tropes page now. Bleach that
was a fun thing. Was whenever I was talking to Gairon about this before we started, I was like, there's no way these each chapter will be about 14 pages. Or I think only the first one was. After that, they were all over 20.
The first one was.
Yeah, the first one was 20 or 14 pages, but then after that, they were all over 20. I think the last one was 27?
27. I think if you count the omakes or whatever, I think they're 29 or what. I forget how many pages they were.
Needless to say, they they got a nice length to them.
Yeah.
No innuendo there.
We should stress that this is an ecchi comic, so the conversation may veer towards a little bit of the suggestive area at times.
Don't worry, we're always suggestive on the Dummy Plug Podcast.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, So after you guys started doing the comic, a lot of people like really started picking up on it on DeviantArt, and it seemed like there was more and more comments every time there was a new chapter coming out. And I know right now you're working on chapter 10. I believe you did page 5 of that just came out recently. Am I correct, Gairon?
Page 5 of 10 just came out on Monday. So yeah, that's the latest page.
All right. Now, I don't want to guess as to what the official end of the comic's going to be. So we'll kind of just let everybody read and see how it goes. But what about like future stuff? Is there any future plot developments you can tell us about, or characters that we haven't seen yet that maybe we should look forward to?
Well, we just introduced a whole slew of visored hollows that we actually created ourselves. These are original characters that we made that are like Ichigo's Zangetsu that he visits in like the other realm, his inner realm or whatever. And we made hollow equivalents to the visors of that character. So there are 8 new characters. We've just introduced them last chapter, and we're definitely going to do something with them in the future, because we just introduced them. And this latest page also features Ikumi, Ichigo's boss from the last anime arc. So yeah.
However,
I'm going to
in this part of the story, Ichigo and Ikumi haven't met yet. This
yeah.
The whole comic takes place after the Eisen arc, but before the Fullbring arc.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people end up forgetting that, probably because it's been so many years since we started.
So this is all sitting within that time span of end of Eisen arc before the Fullbring arc.
Eisen has already been defeated.
Correct.
But the funny thing is, we can pick and choose little bits and pieces of the story that we want to include. Eisen's been defeated, but he's been released and basically back in Karakura Town, running his own restaurant across the street from Urahara's restaurant.
Yeah, it's pretty much his punishment for him. They figure they destroyed enough of the Soul Society that it's a waste to just have him rot away in a cell. Yeah. So they put him to work.
The restaurant that Urahara runs is called Boobies, as it's obviously a spoof on Hooters.
And just to be noted, you guys came up with it before Space Dandy.
Yes, we came up with it before we knew anything about what Space Dandy was.
This was like 2 years before Space Dandy was out.
Yeah. Okay, same idea, same kind of restaurant, but I guess it's okay because the uniforms on Space Dandy are way different from what we have, and it's a restaurant in space, baby. So, we're not upset.
Although I do like the nod you gave, and once Space Dandy came out, and we all like, oh my god, they stole your idea.
They totally
nice little crossover. I like the crossover pick you did with Honey. That was.
I had to. I had to.
It facilitated it.
Obvious thing to not do.
Now, has anybody accused you of stealing the idea from Space Dandy?
A lot of people said they stole your idea, or you did that first, but I think so far they've all done it like in jest, like they don't actually think that we should sue or anything.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's no ill intent, but
also we won't be able to sue. We don't have the power. We don't have the power. So
right.
To win.
Yeah, exactly. You're not a major.
It's a little bit of going both ways, but I think everyone's kidding on it.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh, they stole your idea." Others are like, "You." Like, they'll post on, like, the first chapter that was written years ago and go, oh, you stole this from Boobies, or from Space Dandy.
Space Dandy. It should be called Boobies. Boobies in space. Space Boobies.
Maybe that'll be the next comic you make.
Okay. Who knows? It might very well be. But as I was saying, that's the name of Urahara's restaurant. That's what the comic, the whole story, if you could call it a story, takes place. But across the street, Eisen has his restaurant called Taco Eisen. And if you Bleach fans know where that's from, you all get brownie points.
Should we just tell them? Because
oh, okay.
YouTube Kyle Hubbard doing the Taco Eisen thing.
Okay, well, what happened is this YouTube user got to see Kyle A. Bear, the voice actor for the English dub of Eisen, at a con, and Kyle so graciously decided he read something that he wrote, advertising Taco Eisen, as if he was doing it for like a commercial for the restaurant, and I thought it was pretty funny. And I saw that like way before I knew it would start this kind of comic. And anyway, so when we started the comic, the idea of Taco Eisen came back, and I suggested to Hardcore, oh my goodness, we should totally do Taco Eisen. So he wrote it in.
And I'm pretty sure I know where the idea for Taco Eisen came from the original person. Because if you've ever watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and the little Dr. Weird, pre-show, vignettes, there's actually one where he's like, this isn't a vacation, it's Taco Island. And I think that's where the Taco Eisen name stems from.
Okay, well, I don't think I knew Taco Island. All I know is that I think, the whole Arrancar headquarters, Hueco Mundo, is in Spanish, inspired by Spanish, by Hispanic culture.
I just always thought that it was because Los Noches sounds a lot like Los Nachos.
Los Nachos. That's where I thought it just came from. I didn't think it was anything else.
And then Random Chad.
And Random Chad. Random Chad.
I think that's been like the funniest part of the whole thing, is just random Chad moments.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, like, I don't know how to exactly write Chad out as a character, because he barely talks throughout the series, and it's mostly about, like, really monotone things. So I'm like, how am I going to make Chad funny in this comic?
It's like, I ask this on the forum all the time too. Why is Chad one of the main characters again? I mean, lately in the current animated arc that Toonami's airing, he's had more of a prominent role, which is good change. But Random Chad is still funny.
It's like everything Random Chad just all of a sudden comes to a head in.
I mean, lately it's been Random Uryu or Random Ukitake or something, whatever.
I was gonna say, we haven't seen Uryu much in your comic.
Uryu barely has a role. I think he appeared like twice. Once in the background of a classroom shot, and another with that really bad vest that I gave him for some reason.
He reminded me of McLovin from Superbad, whenever he was wearing that stupid vest.
Oh God, the McLovin vest.
I didn't even, vest can't.
We should have had that as an Omaki spoof in Superbad, just Uryu wearing that vest, saying that he can get everyone alcohol.
Hey, there's still time. Shoehorn it in.
Yeah, still time. Possibly, maybe.
So, I'll ask the burning question: of all the characters in Bleach Happy to Serve You, which ones are your favorites?
Well, apart from me loving drawing sexy women, you could probably guess who they are. But a less obvious answer would probably be... I'm going to have to think about this.
Is it Senna?
Senna? Yeah, probably Senna.
It's always Senna.
It's Senna. My icon on Skype is Senna. All right, it's one of my drawings of her. Also, I am oddly sympathized with Hanataro, just because he's basically just a cute little boy.
I am so glad you said that, because I've always been behind Hanataro the entire time.
It has nothing to do with the fact that he's voiced by Spike Spencer, who's also in Evangelion. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
No, it really doesn't. That's the best part. Yeah. I've always loved Hanataro because he's like the only one. It's like, he knows he's not very strong. He knows he can't do much, but damn it, he's gonna try.
He's like the only one in movies who does all the heavy work. He carries all the chairs, sets up all the tables, cleans up all the floors. And he's just a real hard worker, and he likes to be in the background.
And he's secretly pining for Rukia.
Oh, Rukia, please notice me.
I think, that's like the whole thing. He just wants his senpai to notice him.
I just found out how funny he, turned heel in the second season of the anime whenever Ichigo and them break in. He's like, oh, follow me.
Oh, follow me.
It's like, I'll help you out. I got nothing to say.
Yamamoto's treason senses were tingling.
Yeah, another running gag we always have is, of course, Yamamoto's treason.
Oh,
Whenever we can.
The treason.
Treason. It's like a verbal tick of his. Treason! In one Omake, we have one of our chapters is a Halloween episode or special or what have you. And Nell, who comes back in our comic, steals Yamamoto's uniform as a Halloween costume. She's being a Soul Reaper.
An evil
At
Soul
the
Reaper.
end of the
Because to Hollows, Soul Reapers are scary bad guys. On Halloween, you dress as what's scary.
Scary. So at the end, we we put an omake at the end of every one of our chapters. At least one or two omakes. At the end of that chapter in particular, she stealthily returns his uniform back to him, and in the next panel, we see him having a meeting with the uniform that's too small for him because she altered it for a woman. And it's a bit and it's just the weirdest, squickiest thing I've ever seen.
If you want to know, read the comic.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, what is your favorite character?
I'd probably say from the comic, just Totsuki. I felt that she was very underrated throughout the series.
Yeah,
So-
there's so many, I can't choose. It's hard for me to choose which is my absolute favorite. So.
I also like Teen Nell, who I had like the concept for.
Yeah, Teen Nell, even though it's based on an unoriginal character from the manga, was pretty much her first semi-original character for this comic because we never seen her as a teenager before.
And this was a while back before we even started the comic. I had a question on the forum. I was like, if she has a big crack and she turns into a child, and no crack and she turns into an adult,
A crack
if
in
she
her
has a
mask.
little crack or like a medium-sized one, is she going to be like a teenager?
In her mask, we should make clear, not in her mask. So.
Yes.
Yeah. I should be clear about that.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what we meant.
Yeah.
At least I hope so. God knows.
If
what
she has
Hunter
some
thinks.
big crack, a little crack, you know.
Good
So
God.
Hardcore said, well, if you play with that crack a little bit with the size of it, maybe you could alter her age, which I thought was an ingenious idea. So we came up with Teen Nell.
And Hunter, I have this feeling that the inspiration for Teen Nell, like her personality and everything, is just derived from Asuka from Evangelion. Would I be wrong?
Just the essence of tsundere I tried to pump into there.
And we bring it.
If
and we bring-
Asuka is the essence of tsundere, then yes.
we bring it back around to Evangelion. See, it works.
It works. Well, I know, like, the concept art for Teen Nell definitely screams Asuka, just with the twin tails and just the demeanor and the manner of speech. It just, you could almost just see it in her.
To me,
I remember whenever I was sending Gairon images for like concept drawings of Teen Nell. I sent him Asuka from Ava, Nymph from Heaven's Lost property, and Saya from High School of the Dead.
High School. Yeah. Those were the three major inspirations for what he wanted her to look. Yeah.
Yeah, Gairon came up with a pelvic bone for like the thong.
Yeah, as with a Rancor, she has to have a bone around her body somewhere. So I just thought, well, give her an exterior pelvic bone.
And it works. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, it's like it looked good on her.
Yeah, it was a very nice accent, I will say. I mean, now, like as a viewer, as a consumer of your comic, I've always loved the fact that you give time to characters who maybe didn't get so much time or who have gotten a bad rep in the original series.
Yeah,
I know I'm a huge fan of Momo, and which I always catch flack for. But I do love that you gave her she gets more time in the comic. Granted, she's completely
a little bit more
psychotic.
time. That's one of the things we try to do for this comic. Give more moments to some of the underused characters from the manga,
Right.
because Kubo.
That was part of my grapes during like the whole filler arc thing. I said, why don't they have character development for all these underdeveloped characters?
We always try to include characters we both like. That's the thing.
Right. As in addition to the main cast, Ichigo, Orihime, and
Oh yeah, of course.
oh my God, Orihime.
Oh my goodness, Orihime.
Yes, well, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a huge Orihime fan, and God help me, when I saw Orihime in your comic, I almost lost my mind.
Yeah, we know you're an avid fan and follower of the comic too.
Oh, of course,
very much.
In which I have to thank you for that commission you did for me, because amazing.
How many hours of your life did you spend on that page where you click her chest and it jiggles?
Actually,
would you have to round it into days?
The thing that took the longest in that process was just drawing the in-betweens, which in animation, in-betweens are the drawings that complete the movement of an animated character.
Right.
And that took the longest because I had to actually redraw the boobs from scratch. But I didn't complain.
I just wish that you put a counter on there so I could see how many times people have clicked those.
And then found the hidden click.
I'm sure. I mean, I programmed it. I used ActionScript in Adobe Flash. That's what I use for my interactive pages, because I should point out that some of the pages on DeviantArt are interactive and they do move.
Not neat.
And I'm sure there's a way you could put a timer on there to count the number of clicks someone does, but I am not as code savvy to do that yet.
There are ways. People will find a way.
Yes.
This is the internet. All right. So we've talked a little bit about the Bleach comic. Now, what about future projects? Is there anything you've been kind of tossing around that is there a project that you really have been wanting to work on?
Hardcore, you want to answer? You have an answer first, or?
Sure. Yeah, we were in the talks over trying to do some sort of dating sim game.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Based on Bleach Happy to Serve You.
We're communicating with this fellow deviant who is very knowledgeable with that stuff.
All right. What stage are we on? Have you gotten anything into it yet?
There's nothing really into it. We've talked about a few early concepts, but nothing's really set in stone yet.
Okay.
I did produce artwork and do my own kind of writing for a very short interactive script for him, just to see what goes into it and get familiar with the process. But it's very short, very rudimentary.
I see.
And as for me, there's one particular thing I want to do when this comic ends, which is you heard of the anime Soul Eater, which actually just aired on Toonami a few months back.
Right.
Finished its run on Toonami. Very good anime. I want to do a spin-off manga featuring one of Blair, the cat, who in the anime was featured as one of the first villains, but was only a villain for basically the first episode, and then she's sadly underused after that.
Yes, and we all remember her bath scenes fondly.
She's also incredibly flirtatious and sexy, which has absolutely not... it has a lot to do with it. But what I want to do is have a spin-off comic, which is a prequel of sorts, which follows how her life was before she met the main cast and before she went to Death City. And it takes place in America, which hey, I'm in America, so right what I know. But I just wish there were moments where she was more developed, where she had more great moments in the show,
Yeah, and honestly, I wish that she would have been added to the cast of Soul Eater, not.
I mean, I totally understand. I know the backstory of how Soul Eater was developed as a manga, so I totally understand why she was used the way she was, because she was in one of the first chapters before the mangaka ever knew that this would be serialized, if it would be successful. And unfortunately, I guess the mangaka couldn't figure out a good way to utilize her in the main storyline after that.
Right.
That's what I think happened. She's a cat that can turn into a witch and possibly other things, but we don't know how or why. So hopefully I can think of some creative backstory or reason for why she could do that, and maybe the story I write or draw could explain that or have something to do with that.
Half Sisters with Yoriichi called it.
Yeah, what is she?
Oh my god! If you somehow
Speaking
tie
of-
this into Bleach Happy to Serve You,
Speaking of which, we should have really had Yoriichi dress as Blair for the Halloween chapter. Drop the ball on that one.
She dressed as
She dressed as Catwoman.
Catwoman, the Arkham Asylum version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was still good. We chose
Yeah,
great.
it was good.
Great choices for their Halloween costumes.
well, Halloween is coming up. We could always do another one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
right.
that was my favorite chapter, was writing the Halloween one out.
Oh yeah, I did enjoy reading it, especially with all the art references to other shows. Orihime dressed as Yoko from Gurren Lagann.
Yes. Guys, I want to stress, Orihime Inoue from Bleach dressed as Yoko from Gurren Lagann
That's all that needs
in
to be
the
said.
comic. Okay, if you all want to see that.
Oh god, yes.
So anyway, that's one thing I want to do, after or when I have free time to do it.
Okay.
And I wanted to have most of it or all of it set in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
So Blair from Soul Eater in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I think that could be successful. I just have to figure out a good story along with it too. Because Las Vegas is in Nevada. It could be right just a couple hours from Death City.
This is true.
Well, is Death City, is it in Nevada or Arizona?
In the manga, it's set in Nevada.
Where is Death Valley? Because I think the mangaka said it in Nevada because of Death Valley.
That's here.
So where is Death Valley?
Well, here as a geography major, I do actually know this.
Oh, okay.
So the actual real life Death Valley is in very southern California,
Oh.
and I think trails over into Arizona a little bit.
Okay, so California or Arizona or
It's
something.
like right on that border. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking like right on the border.
It's still closer to Los Angeles than where I am.
Right.
So it's still work.
Right. So, but now in the manga, Death City is actually based in Nevada.
Okay.
Now in the anime, though, I believe they placed Death City in Death Valley. So I'm not sure if that was just a translation error for the English dub or what happened there. I haven't had a chance to see the sub for Soul Eater.
And research.
Yes, research.
Research.
I don't know, it's just all godless desert whenever you get out there anyway.
You always toss out Death City and everything. You just put Claire and Salem.
A city in the middle of that desert would be welcome there, all right? Although they would have to have a continuous source of good water.
That's true.
It would probably just get
Terrible. You're in the middle of a desert and the sun just laughs at you.
Well, in California,
It's like everyone's just tripping the whole time.
And California's in the middle of a drought too, so maybe I hope they'll be all right.
Yes, to all our California fans, hang in there. Winter is coming.
Yes. Although it may be a dry winter.
Still snow.
So anyway, that's one of the things I'm thinking of doing.
All right. Is there any other projects you guys want to talk about?
Other than the more pieces of art that I want to do for myself, and if any requests come along the way, or whatever. Other than that, I don't have very solid thoughts.
All right.
Than that.
Hunter, anything on your end?
No real projects, but I was wondering, hey Gairon,
Yeah.
what's your favorite chapter out of the comics so far?
Let me search through my head. I like the Halloween chapter. I feel like it's not my favorite because I don't know. I like the which one was the one that started with Toshiro in the kitchen and he's washing the dishes and then he gets drenched. That was one.
We'll just call that Toshiro chapter.
I think it was chapter 7. That was one of my favorites just because it started very lighthearted with very lighthearted humor with actually a lot of slapstick, and then the second half diverged more into somewhat dramatic territory.
And whenever I was writing that one, I pretty much was like, all right, we're gonna make a secondary group of characters here, just give them a focus, and it pretty much turns into Toshiro and his harem.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the Toshiro.
Yeah. Isn't that that's also the chapter where Ukitake first makes a visit?
Yeah. Yeah. Coughs up ketchup blood.
I think I have the answer. I like individual moments in the storyline more than chapters.
Yeah.
That's a better answer.
Okay. Is there one that sticks out among the rest?
Nemu as the oven.
Oh. Wait, which part were they actually figuring out how she works?
I think we have about 3 parts in the manga that joke about her being an oven.
Yeah.
And it ends up because I want to try to like get away with more each time. And the first time we came up with this idea, it was like going to be pretty dark with the pie getting eaten in front of Nemu or whatever it was.
Terrible.
Those were like one of the first what the fuck moments. Those were the first moments when I was looking at the script saying, "We're really doing this." Oh boy,
I was like, I'm not drawing this.
Oh my.
And then later you ended up doing it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and the comments whenever we like had people realize that the pie was that she felt that the pie was her child, and she named it Mayawi after Mayuri.
That's right. We were going to use it for like earlier chapter, but I initially turned it down because I thought, that sounds a little dark, even for our comic, because bright and comedic. But we eventually did bring it back. We brought it back. Was it last chapter?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
When we went back to Nemu, and she goes and grabs the pie, and before
not only was that pie eaten, but it was raped.
That's right.
No, I gotta build it up. Build it up. Or someone was going to take it away, and then Nemu hesitated and said, "Can I hold it?" And Senna's bring it back to her, and Senna says, "Well, okay." And then she calls her a child. So I was like, "Wait a minute, it's your child?" And that's when she gives her the name, and she said, "Yes, I gave birth to it in my oven because it is my child." Urahara always brings them back to the Soul Society for schooling. And Senna is about to say, "Well, I don't think," and then
is saying, it's like, just let it go.
Yeah. Isane is the one who cuts her off, saying, "No, don't tell her, just let it go, let her have her moment."
That was amazing.
And then at the Omake, at the end of that one, it's like, it should be, the Omake we put at the end of the chapter featured Renji, and it should, that page should be called, like, Renji Just Go Home, because it gets worse and worse and worse for him in terms of the pie.
And in that Omake, there's something that Gairon edited out of it. We were going to have Urahara eating the pie after Renji raped it.
Oh, God.
No. I added that for the PDF. So
it's in the PDF?
Yeah, you go back. It's in there. I just had to put it in the corner of the panel.
Oh, my God.
I can just imagine the faces of the...
So there you go. People read the PDFs. You might catch something new.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, you can download the full PDFs of the full chapters. They are, however, not interactive, so...
PDFs are not interactive, usually. If they are, I don't know how to make them.
I remember where I was reading, I was like, I guess him eating the pie might have been too graphic.
Much.
Okay, let me break it down. First, on the page, Renji Rukia just found Renji eating with Chappie together because they've grown very fond of each other.
We haven't mentioned Chappie yet.
Chappie, yes. We include Chappie, Rukia's favorite soul.
We first had her talking, but then after a while I was like, you know what? It'd be cuter if she didn't talk.
So we just
women.
had her say hop, like she does sometimes in the manga. Although now we have to say hop all the time.
And just draws cute pictures
And Urahara has her like in a boobies uniform because he needs all the help he can get. So she's like a semi-waitress. I say semi because she hardly does any work.
She's the mascot.
Does cute things and draws with crayons all over the place. And we also gave her
the store pet.
We also gave her actual rabbit ears and tail,
which get cut off in the Halloween chapter.
That was so brutal.
Rukia actually cut off her ears and tail to have as a her Halloween costume, thereby placing Chappie in bandages. So she, in a roundabout way, she became a mummy for the Halloween chapter.
It was talk about brutal though. In the Halloween chapter, I actually wrote a chapter before that, which was going to be the Halloween chapter. Gairon said it's too fucking dark. What is wrong with you? It was going to be Yuzu. She was going to have her Oni-chan obsession with Ichigo.
Yeah.
Kon was going to tell Ichigo about the Ichigo-sized Dakimura in her bedroom.
Oh no.
Never before heard script, guys. Never before heard script. Here we go.
Why isn't this a thing?
It goes on, and then like she's just obsessing slowly into madness over the course of this comic on how Ichigo's not spending time with her. He's going out with these other girls with Tatsuki and Orihime.
Yeah.
And she like goes downstairs and she's looking through photos, and she sees like the ones of her and Ichigo, and she's like smiling. And then she like flips over another page, and there's ones with like Tatsuki, Ichigo, and Orihime.
Yeah.
And she takes scissors and she just like stabs the eyes out of the pictures.
Oh god. Oh my god.
And then it progresses into like and in the background we're like having Kon sit like sort of like a creepy doll in the back of each scene, no explanation as to how he gets there.
Yeah.
And the story's supposed to be told from the point of view of Kon.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And
So if Yandere Yuzu, she was just nuts.
oh yeah, she's just going crazy throughout this comic and just steadily stabbing out all the pictures of the eyes of Orihime and Tatsuki and the other girls in the photos.
Should we tell them how it ends, or should we just...
Yeah, I'll tell them how it ends.
Unless you guys are going to draw this at some point, because this could totally make for a second Halloween episode.
How it ends is that Ichigo brings Orihime back. Yuzu made them like a big dinner because before he said that he was going to be home for dinner. And she's like all happy, and then she sees Orihime there, and she just gets that like deep yandere stare, like bitch gonna die kind of look. And Ichigo goes upstairs, or no, they go upstairs. Yuzu and Orihime go upstairs, and Ichigo goes, sits down, and he sees the photo album and opens it and sees all the pictures and remembers what Kon was telling him about, like the Dakimura and stuff. And he like hears Orihime scream, and he runs upstairs, and friggin' Yuzu stabbed her friggin' in the throat with scissors.
Holy crap.
And Ichigo's like freaking the fuck out, so he like runs over to his closet to get some blankets to stop the bleeding, and he opens the closet, and it's got Rukia inside, and her stomach's cut open, and she's hung by her intestines.
Oh no.
And
then...
like it pans into Ichigo's face, and behind his shoulder you just see Yuzu smiling and asking for her brother and stuff. And then how we end it is that it was all like a Halloween play or movie that they were putting on.
Yeah.
Good God, man.
It was a Halloween play.
See, now why couldn't this become the second Halloween chapter? I would read the hell out of that.
Well, because I just think it was a little bit dark for the comic.
I mean, it is, but now, you know...
Like, people thought the last Halloween chapter that I wrote was dark.
No, I mean...
You chopped Chappie's ears off. That was just mean.
Well, the way...
Chopped Chappie's ears off. We had human sacrifices. A good Halloween origin story.
We've had Kenpachi and Unohara X. So,
oh yeah, that.
Oh yeah, we did that before. Like everyone was like on train for it.
We put pretty risque things in the comic, but oddly, I was okay with those. I think it's the way we present them, or the way I envision them being presented, or edited, or shot, or something.
I think part of it was the Yuzu thing, because we do get like early whenever this comic came out, we were getting complaints over like the characters' ages and stuff from different users.
Yeah, because I think the main complaint was like most of the cast is under 18 or something like that. And,
yeah, I think that was a time when, look, the point of this comic is to have fun with it. and to poke fun at some things feelings we have about Bleach or story conventions or whatnot about it. And a lot of people should probably just relax about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of serious.
There's a lot of inconsistencies with the canon, especially even in the time period we write it in. So.
Okay.
Yeah, majority though, everyone is pretty cool about it. They get what the joke is. They laugh.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with reader reactions, even if they're online reader reactions, because if you dealt with online users, you can know the drama that can form from them. But initially, we've had a few detractors who expressed their hatred for it in the beginning because either they didn't know what this comic was about or betrayed their expectations for what it did become when it initially started, probably because they weren't prepared for it.
Some of it I also think might have been just the popularity of it. Like, we were having hundreds of thousands of views in the first few months.
Oh, they're jelly.
You got too mainstream.
We got too mainstream.
Yeah, those happy to serve you hipsters, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I knew about this comic when Senna was just introduced. And Kago was still in it.
Again, do you have any favorite panels or jokes that we used in the comic?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the Halloween thing just for what it was, because it was a really interesting way to kind of, bring in the history of Halloween, and I was really, really happy with the way you guys took care of that.
The story we ultimately went with for the Halloween chapter is divided into two parts. One, Rukia and Nell visit Ichigo's room, and they wind up telling a story about their
origin story,
of the history of Halloween. Only they call it Halloween.
Very punny.
Get it? Yeah.
We get it.
And
speaking of puns, all the fucking holos that we had to think of, those names were like a nightmare to friggin' get that translated into both Japanese and English.
Yeah.
The visor hollows. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. The
I
second
will say,
half of the chapter
Moe
was them going to the Boobies company Halloween party, just with everyone in costume and whatnot. So that's what the chapter became.
I know a lot of the costumes in that final scene are pretty recognizable, but there was a couple where I was like, I don't offhand recognize them. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen the shows.
Most of them are from franchises. A lot of them are not. Some of them are just basic Halloween costumes.
Yeah, I picked the main costumes for the main cast, and then after that I was like, fuck it, Gairon, pick the rest.
Yeah.
Draw whatever you want.
Determining who would wear what, it was pretty much a half and half between ourselves. I got to decide who would wear what for about half of the cast. I decided Unohana would be Mrs. Claus, just because I just figured, people dress as...
We're gonna shoe in Christmas somewhere in a Halloween comic, aren't you?
Yeah, this is a subtle message on how Christmas is always encroaching a month earlier.
And Unohana, she's a MILF.
We make people think.
And she's a MILF, so I thought
yes.
would be fitting for her. And I also had Ikaku dressed as the Slenderman. And of course, he's way in the back, if you can find him.
And we had Shinji and Hiyori dressed as Shinji and Asuka.
Yeah, Shinji is dressed as Shinji. I should have had Urahara dressed as Shinji.
Urahara would have been more of a Kaji, I think. A Kaji or a Gendo.
I'm sorry, Hanataro dressed as Shinji. That works.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, that works better.
That would have been amazing.
Instead, I had him dressed as... What did you have him dressed as?
You had him dressed as like a dog or something.
I just had him dressed as a cat, because Toshiro was a werewolf, and he was smelling the cat, who was Hanataro, under the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I just can't get the image of friggin' Hitsugaya smelling Hanataro.
Yeah.
It's like we just made a lot of yaoi fangirls really happy.
Oh boy, what did we do to taint our pure minds?
That's one of the things, is that we have about as much male fan service in this comic as we do female at time.
That's right. Boobies does not discriminate against gender. So
equal opportunity.
Yeah, equal opportunity employer.
Yes, because God
knows. So yeah, ladies, if you feel alienated, just there's some things for you too.
Yeah, when you stuck Yumi Chica in the boobies uniform, I think we all threw up a little.
When we, yeah, no, in this, Yumi Chica is pretty flanderized in this comic. He's just flaming gay, all right? He pretty much embraced coming out, and now he's just flaming gay.
Okay.
I just thought that it would have been funnier to write him that way.
It works.
Kind of. I mean,
Like, the thing is, like, he's more like a prude gay.
yeah, he's like trying to
very
get
passive aggressive in the show, but
He's more a little bit too. He has no sense of personal space, or he tries to be too forward with people. That's his main problem.
yeah, in this we made him more in your face. Here, get used to it, kind of gay.
And then you paired him with Omaida, and everyone hates you.
Oh my God, Omaida! I forgot about Omaida. Thanks for reminding me.
We all try to forget about Omaida.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
His boobs got introduced before he was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have the gag panel of the close-up of the boobs, and you think, oh, fan service, and then it zooms out, and it's a fat dude. Although in
the comments on that page, oh my God!
Oh God!
If there was ever a singular moment where everyone turned on you, it was that.
It's like, hey, Soifon, I heard you were working over here, and
God. It's like you're just like, please, somebody kill him.
And this was when I post the pages. It's like I don't memorize the script. I just look at them when I need to refer them to make the pages. So when I posted it, one of the people said, "I hope he doesn't appear ever again." And I had the foolish decision of saying, "Oh, don't worry, he doesn't." And then come 5 more pages, he appears again.
Oh,
My bad.
Yeah,
that was pretty brutal.
I don't have a good memory for some things, like not remembering Omaida. Thank you very much.
Yes, we all just Omaida's stricken from the record.
Yeah.
Until he's killed inevitably by Soifon. All right. So
one of the jokes that I remember a lot that I thought was pretty funny. Everyone else, I guess, had red flags about it. Was the Yuzu blowing up a condom instead of a balloon?
Oh, that.
Oh my God. There are a lot of pretty controversial moments in the comic too, but also very hilarious. We can't pass a podcast episode without mentioning Yoroichi in the vending machine.
Oh yeah, the claw machine. That Omaki. Yeah, that was actually a skit that I wrote out prior to us working on this comic, and then I reworked it for an Omaki.
His skits, and we had the comic going. I remember that skit you did, so I was the one who suggested, "Hey, you should bring that back." So we used it as one of the omakes.
I remember that. That was actually really, really interesting. And then Urahara's just like, "I need quarters."
It was one of the biggest hits on DeviantArt. It has a ton of comments.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, quarters. I need quarters. Oh, we should probably have written it as yen, but
yeah. I remember people saying, "Don't you mean yen?" And I was like, "It's an American claw machine." They're like, "That doesn't make sense," and I'm like, "Think about it."
You could have just went with the neutral tokens, and it
like
would have been.
Like all those douches online.
No, but it's in Japan, so you have to use yen.
Once again, with the Halloween chapter, the fallout that we had with friggin' Yamamoto looking too much like Ukitake, and him not looking like his friggin' older self that was shown a week after we made this.
A week after we made this. We are not kidding.
Yeah, it was a week after we made this. They showed what Yamamoto looked like when he was younger, and it was the hugest fallout we had in the comic, I think. Do you guys even read the manga?
We have an ongoing joke that Tudakube is stalking us.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kubo is stalking you guys.
And now Shinihiro Watanabe for Space Bandy.
Good God. I swear to God, you guys need to get an anime.
Well, they gotta get their ideas from somewhere. At least they get them from good.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just waiting for the day you're gonna get contacted by somebody from some major, manga or anime corporation.
Yeah, but they're gonna be yelling at me in Japanese on the phone. I'm just gonna hang up.
Well, that thing they're gonna be like, we want to give you money to do this. For the love of God, fix it.
Well, they better have a translator, and I probably better get a lawyer. But I'm not planning on doing anything serious with this at the moment.
No, in the animation industry, they'll give you Google Translate to make it work.
Oh my God! And Google
Somebody-
Translate with the poor translations,
Oh
so they
my
come out all funny.
I'm pretty sure that's how certain fan subs are made.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Some of the troll subs I see out there are just unbelievable. It's like, wow, how did you even potentially do this to yourself? So, all right. Well, we've talked a lot about the comic. Let's talk a little bit now about Evangelion. This is an Evangelion podcast. I know it doesn't seem like it. I know, Hunter, you're a little bit more into the fandom, but in Gairon, I know you've recently come into the fandom.
Yeah,
with us.
I guess. I mean, I have not seen the show, and I've not seen the compilation movie or whatever you call it. I am most familiar with the Rebuild films because, I have them, the first two on DVD. They both ran on Toonami, which I do follow as much as I can.
Right.
And I saw the third film dubbed.
Where and when did you see
Oh,
that?
This was before any controversy for releasing on home video took place. They of course, Funimation likes to have pre-screenings of their dubs sometimes at conventions. So I went to the New York Comic Con last year. I wish it was last week. It should be. There should be one every week. And they happened to show Evangelion 3.0. So I saw it dubbed. And it turns out it was more of a special moment than I realized because they can't put it on home video yet.
That's right. They did do a limited theatrical release, which that's
Right.
how I saw 3.0 dubbed.
Right.
But the fact that there's just been all this controversy surrounding that dub is just nothing short of amazing.
I mean, I'm sure more people have seen the sub, right? That makes sense. So
Yeah, Gyro, what would you say, whenever you were watching it, what would you say would have been controversial things as to why they're not
Okay.
letting them release the video?
I think Kara had a major problem with, and this is just my theory, one particular moment. And that moment is Shinji and Karu at the piano. Because the way, I don't even think it was Funimation's fault. The way they had them edited and presented and framed made it very clearly gay.
right.
And
Well, there's always been that subtext surrounding that relationship.
yeah, but in this film, they don't even try to it's not even subtext, I think.
Does
Yeah,
Karu say things that are outright flamboyant at times, or
Well, the lines he says, at least in the dub, I haven't heard the sub, at least in the dub, are, layered. It could mean, suggestive things or not suggestive things. It has a double meaning to everything. But, he's just trying to befriend Shinji, and I knew what it was kind of moment it was supposed to be. This is one of the only true friend Shinji ever had. One of the first people in his life that actually treated him like a human being. And for once, he felt happy with someone. But I couldn't understand half of what they're saying because everyone in the auditorium was howling, and for not a good reason.
Oh.
So I kept saying, it doesn't help that Jerry Jewell, who, a fantastic Jerry Jewell, who does Karu in the voices Karu in the dub. Had to Tatum there.
Don't even start that nonsense.
Let's not start this nonsense.
getting
Whispers.
deja vu with Gyron's innuendo here?
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
So I couldn't. I just felt like going, "Oh my God, everybody, shut up! I can't hear what he's saying."
Wait, were you that guy that was at that panel that Hunter was at who was yelling about the porn?
You're the guy that you were the. No, I was not.
Oh, that guy was furious about his porn.
Amazing.
It had plot, damn it.
I was talking about his porn to Shinji. I don't know because I haven't heard half of what he said. So
Oh my goodness! Look, all I'll say is if you have any understanding of Kaworu as a character and a little bit of understanding of the story, nothing that Kaworu says in the dub should should be misinterpreted as being homosexual.
Well, I mean, as
Are you being ironic? Cause
No, I'm literally not. I'm not being ironic in any way here. It's just if you want, because we all understand who Kaworu is. We know what Kaworu is in the original show.
Okay.
What,
and I heard
that?
Yeah.
What? Oh, sorry.
I mean, I haven't seen the show, but I've heard that being gay is just a fan theory because they in no way try to shove it in your face. At least what I heard.
Yeah, it's never. That's the thing. It was never outright said that Kaworu is gay and Shinji is, gay with him. It's just one of those things that people kind of interpreted as such.
They had Kaworu sitting with no shirt, sitting on a giant finger. It's kind of subtext.
Yeah. Well, that too, but for what it is, I mean, we only had one episode of Kaworu in the original series. So we never had a chance to really flesh out his character, and it was just one of those weird things. A lot of people just read into it too much, and the fangirls got a hold of the idea and ran with it.
As fans typically do online, especially with the advent of online, fan theories can form like that much quicker now.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
the main idea of Kaworu is that he's supposed to be innocent, and that he doesn't understand these boundaries.
Right. Okay.
And that was the whole thing. It's like if you understand that Kaworu doesn't have those kinds of feelings, he genuinely just wants to be Shinji's friend. A lot of that misinterpreted subtext kind of goes away. But at the same time, because we don't they've never outright mentioned anything about Kaworu's origins in the Rebuild films.
Right.
It's hard to say what's being interpreted, but.
Well,
so we're kind of basing it on old theory, and from what we've talked about this a little bit on previous podcasts and on the forums, that and then it's just one of those things that we don't know anything yet. We'll see what happens in the future. Do we think Kaworu's gay? No. Do we think Shinji's gay? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Well, this has always been my argument.
That's like, by the way.
Well, my argument with Shinji is that he's not gay, but he might have tendencies.
Actually, it's hard to tell with Shinji because most of the time he's just he keeps everything in. He's so worried about everything. He keeps everything to himself, so it's almost hard to read him sometimes.
Yeah, Shinji's not a very outward expressing character.
No.
So. But
as a side note, I don't think we mentioned this. I also designed the logos for your Dummy Plug podcast.
Oh yes, God, I forgot. How did we ever forget to mention that? Yes.
So
for those
you have
listening
to this podcast too, listeners.
Yes, although you've never appeared on the podcast until now.
Oh,
Gairon is we've given you the title of staff animator.
And it originally started with Pen, with the text Dummy Plug podcast down the bottom. But then we all felt like we should do like the other members of the cast too, or at least the principal cast members. So I thought, well, why don't we do both? So I wound up doing a whole series of icons. And for Shinji, I gave him the most pathetic, sad face I can think of.
By the way, I should mention this to you. The email for this podcast, which by the way is dummyplugpodcast@gmail.com. When I was creating it, I had to list a name, like as the primary account holder, and I'm like, I don't want to use my own name because I don't want people just knowing it's me or whoever, because God forbid I'm not the one answering these emails. So I used Shinji, and I was like, I got to put a picture of it on there. So the picture for the the person you're talking to and answering you for Shinji is actually that
oh no
Dummy Plug podcast Shinji with a sad face.
What is it?
Whenever I think about it, we got like pretty much the three creators of this podcast on here. I came up with the name. Gairon draws the images, and Gaynor announces it.
Yep. All we need now is Iowa on here to swear, and we're good.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to say that it's pretty frustrating not knowing the real reason why we're not getting a home video release yet. But I'm sure whatever Funimation did, I'm sure they were totally in the right, because I love Funimation. I love their dubs. I love their voice actors too.
Yeah, a lot of speculation is this is all.
I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, all they have to do is dub it. And at first I thought, well, if they just have to dub it, well, then what's taking so long? But then I remembered, well, dubbing takes money, and if they dub it over again, that means this this movie alone, its dub would cost twice as much as a usual dub. And I'm sure they don't want that.
And that's assuming they dub it beginning to end.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know the details of what they're upset with. So.
Yeah, I heard they are redubbing it, but we don't know if it's a full redub or just partial.
Right. And honestly, we won't... if and when we do get a new version of this, I hope that they include both versions of the dub in whatever release they have, just so we can get an idea of what's going on.
Unless there are massive differences, I don't think... it doesn't make sense that they would include the original dub to that if there are like tiny...
Well, because they always include like... Whenever 1.0 came out, they had like 1.0, 1.01, and 1.11 on...
okay.
Well, with that was more of a graphics update than anything else.
Yeah, but if you bought 1.11, then it had like the past like 1.0 on it also.
Right.
So you could see the comparisons.
Realistically, I think what we could possibly expect is like an outtake reel or a director's cut for when 3.0 comes out on home video.
Yeah, like I'd probably see like deleted scenes.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that would be an easy and practical way to go about this, just so people can compare what happened. The question whether or not now is, will Kara let them do that? And that might be what the delay is all about.
Yeah, I have never heard of this thing happening to a dub this way before. This is pretty interesting news.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of a past instance myself.
It's
a weird situation.
I mean, some animes get redubs. I've heard of that, but not to the extent that after they just finished one. I mean, before they even have a chance to release it on home video.
Yeah, it's
something that I'm hoping is that like
screwy.
Kara doing the having Funimation do the release to the cons and the theatrical releases. I'm hoping that they and have people from Kara over at like the major cons just to listen to it and see the reactions, and then they saw everyone laughing and were like, oh, something must have been messed up because this is a serious scene.
I mean, that's just a theory I have.
They might not have understood that like American audiences are different than Japanese audiences and how we watch movies.
I mean, this is the theory I have. I could be entirely wrong about that very reason. So
yeah, and honestly, once we get a release and we can start picking and comparing, and we can compare the Japanese to the original and just say, okay, this is where we're at. We won't be able to say that until we get a release, and honestly, and we don't know when that release is coming. The only rumor we've even heard is Valentine's Day 2015.
Yeah.
And God knows if that's even remotely true.
It's like a year and a half over the premiere that I saw.
Right. Well, I mean, when you look at the time span of, movie release to DVD release to the next one starting, there's a big time span. Between all of these.
So yeah.
Do we even have a potential release for 4.0 yet?
No, and that's way early for that.
Right. I mean, like, the only minor inkling I've even heard is something about, like, winter 2016.
I was here in 2015, but...
Yeah, I think it's, like, end of 2015, beginning of 2016.
Yeah,
like
that could be it.
January. Like, just in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Christmas which year? That's the thing.
It doesn't matter. It's like, guys, listen, I'm gonna skip out on Christmas. I gotta go watch Ava.
It's just funny whenever I think back on how, like, the first time we heard that there was gonna even be a rebuild film was back in 2007.
Right. Yeah, once we heard about the rebuild films, we were kind of like, why? And and at first and after the first one, we were still like, why? Why was there was minor changes to the first in the first rebuild. It was essentially an abridged version of like the first chunk of the series.
Yeah, from like where we first heard of that news till now, it's been 7 years and we're still not done with the series yet.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You got to remember, it also diverged in 2.0 from the original series, and that's when everybody was like, "Oh my god."
I mean, I never knew that at this point I can't imagine Eva ever ending as a story. But then again, that was the case with me in Bleach too, and now look.
Yeah. Well, let's just say, if you ever get around to watching the original series, Gairon, you
know
are
what?
in for
I
some
already
stuff.
know that it sounds like if you're an anime fan, the original show is something you should definitely watch before you die. So I think chances are I'll get around to that eventually.
I'm sure there are plenty of people around you that are more than willing to lend you the series.
Okay.
Or places at conventions that are more than willing to sell it to you at a very high price.
And I'll probably do that, the latter choice, because that's the better
Yeah.
thing to do.
I was going to say, Hunter, what is Platinum Collection going for right now? Like $240?
Yeah, over $200.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, it's out of print, so everything connected to like the Ava box sets are expensive.
Okay.
It's like $240, $270, and like the end of Evangelion movies about $140.
Okay, this is
Is
the
it
era
really?
where American anime DVDs released like 2 episodes for like $60 or whatever. Or something.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I remember whenever I first bought the box set and the movie, I got the box set for $20 and the DVD for $17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was back in 2007.
God,
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you how I pieced together everything with mine. I actually got the original series on the original box set. I don't even remember where I got it. I want to say I picked it up at like a thrift store, or just some like junk store or something. But it was like, oh my god, amazing! And then I came across like Death and Rebirth in the most random of ways. I actually own a VHS copy of it that I found randomly at a convention, and then the one that I had the hardest time finding was End of Evangelion, and finally I was like, I need to see this movie because I had never seen it, and I was like, and finally someone on the Adult Swim message boards actually said to me, I'll sell you my copy for like $20.
Wow.
And I was like, shut up and take my money.
Oh, yeah.
So
What?
that,
God.
yeah, so that's how I ended up getting my hands on like the original, everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then once the Rebuild films came out, I was like, okay, I'm going to the store, I'll buy Rebuild, and I'll see you guys later. So, but
I remember I had a few like odd moments where I first got End of Evangelion. The first was I put it in, and you know that like intro sequence where it's like live action people walking.
right.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Like I was watching that, and I'm like, oh, I got fucking gypped.
No, you just got Gynex.
Well, yeah, it's like you
just
skip
Gynex.
ahead a little bit, and it goes to Shinji jerking off to Asuka, but
Oh,
yeah.
God, that.
Yeah.
like prior to that, I'm like, is this some sort of live action film? Like, is this bait and switch?
It's like, God forbid we get a live action Ava in our lifetime.
And then at the middle part where Shinji screams and it goes to credits, I thought the film fucking ended. I was like, is that it?
Then you pop
like,
out the VHS and you look
yeah,
and see how much.
well, it was on DVD, but I turned it off and I went online. I was like, it just ends like this. And I'm talking to you guys online, and someone was like, no, after those credits, it continues.
Oh, God.
So then the next day, I finished watching the episode. Also, Black Hyuga.
What?
That's something that Gairon doesn't know about.
I'm sorry?
All right, they changed the voice actor of Hyuga in End of Evangelion from who it was in the series, which was Matt Greenfield.
Okay.
And in EOE, they make him sound like he's black. And he says things like, damn, ain't they ever heard of moderation? Whenever bombs drop and stuff. And
Yeah, it was like one of the most terrible recastings I've seen in a dub.
Okay.
It's just one of those. It's like one of those little Easter
No,
egg gems.
that's like something you find in like only abridged versions or fan dubs or something.
It's just one of those goofy things that happens, and we're not sure why.
Because he clearly looks black to me.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't, right?
Yeah, it's just a goofy thing.
I-
And honestly, if Hugo,
I
was
would
a
like
main-
to see I think Amanda Wynn Lee was casting at the time for that. Or she was like the director.
Okay.
I would like to have seen her just like defend it, be like, we don't see race.
and now she's Pen
Be
Pen.
all deep.
Or no, wait, who's Pen Pen? Who the fuck's Pen Pen now?
Pen Pen is Monica Rial.
No, in the original. Wait, Is it Monica Rial?
For the rebuild films, Monica Rial is Pen Pen.
Who that? No, wait. I thought it was somebody else.
That's what I read in the credits somewhere from my memory.
Damn it, Hunter, bring it up.
Is Hunter gonna
By
do
the way,
like a
Gaynor,
segment?
what's our time?
Like an hour 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, we should probably wrap this thing up.
Probably, yeah.
Well, we'll discover the mysteries of Pen Pen in another podcast.
I'll look it up and chat you guys about it after we end this thing.
Yes. So anyway, we'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
And hopefully we'll get to do this again another time. Hopefully, Gairon, you'll be able to come and join us on the regular podcast.
And just to let you guys know, you can find me at Gairon on DeviantArt, and I'm also on the Toonami boards under the new username Elfie.
Yes.
You can find me as Elfie on the Adult Swim message boards. They make it a little bit of a chore to find the boards from the main page, so you can just type in boards at .adultswim.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just so everybody can find you on DeviantArt, Gairon is spelled Gairon.
Yeah.
Because, spelling, God knows, there's probably about 300 ways people are spelling that thing right about now.
Yeah.
As for me, you guys don't find me, I'll find you.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, if you want to find Hunter, just come to our forums on
He hunts
rebuildofevangelion.org.
He hunts cool people.
Yes. So, anyway, for the Dummy Plug Podcast bonus edition, I am Gainer79. Thank you very much for joining us today. Peace out.
Peace.
Thou could not tell